You've seen the videos, live like a king in Thailand for $1,000 a month, beachfront condo, massage every day, eating like royalty, and somehow you've still got money left over. I'm going to tell you straight, a lot of those videos are either out of date or they're leaving out a lot. Because it's 2026 and Thailand isn't quite as cheap as some of them old videos would have you believe. So today I want to do something different. Let's take a real retirement income of 1,500 US dollars a month. That's roughly 50,000 baht, and see what kind of life that actually buys you in Thailand. Not the highlight reel, rent, food, healthcare, transport, visas, social life, and the unexpected stuff. And by the end of this video, you'll know whether 1,500 US dollars a month can give you a comfortable retirement here, or whether you're going to feel like you're constantly watching the pennies. Because there's a big difference between being able to survive on $1,500 a month and actually having enough money to enjoy your retirement. And that's what I want to find out. Let's get into it. Before we get into the numbers, let's be clear about who this video is for. Let's say you're somewhere between 58 and 72. You've worked most of your life. You've got a pension or social security of around 1,500 US dollars a month, and you want your money to go further without living a miserable life. That's who I'm talking to today. But this budget isn't for someone who wants a brand new condo with a rooftop pool, imported food every week, a big nightlife budget, and regular trips back home or around Southeast Asia. If that's the lifestyle you're picturing, 1,500 US dollars is gonna feel very tight. Because here's something I want you to remember throughout this video. Affordable does not automatically mean stress-free. I've met people living on less than $1,000 a month who are perfectly happy, and people spending $2,500 a month who aren't. The numbers matter, but what you do with the numbers matters just as much. So let's break it down properly. Let's start with the stuff people don't always put in the budget. The boring stuff: visas, paperwork, and healthcare. First, the visa. If you're using the retirement visa, you probably heard about the 800,000 Thai baht financial requirement. That's roughly, I'll put it on the screen down below, depending obviously on the exchange rate and whether you're watching this video now or in the future. That money isn't a monthly expense, but it does mean you need a significant amount of savings sitting there to meet the requirements. And when you're living on $1,500 a month, having that financial buffer matters. Then you've got the smaller stuff: extensions, reporting, re-entry permits if you travel regularly, and possibly an agency if you choose to have one. None of those will destroy your budget on their own, but they need to be accounted for. And then there's the big one: healthcare. This is where your age becomes really important. You've basically got three choices: self-insure and pay out of pocket, use a Thai insurance policy, or pay for more comprehensive international coverage. And the cost can vary enormously depending on your age, health, and what you're actually covered for. A policy that might be affordable in your 50s can become considerably more expensive as you get older, and pre-existing conditions can make things even more complicated. If you're self-insuring, you also need a separate emergency fund, because one serious medical problem can wipe out months of your income very quickly. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because healthcare needs to be part of the plan from day one. Now let's get into the expense that will probably have the biggest impact on your day-to-day life: housing. Housing is where the budget either makes or breaks you. It's probably the biggest variable in your monthly spending, and it can shape the entire experience of living here in Thailand. So let's break it down into 3 tiers. Tier 1, cheap provincial living. Okay, smaller towns and places away from the main tourist areas. You might find a simple apartment or small house even for around $150 to $300 a month, sometimes less. Tier 2, mid-range retirement hubs. Places like Chiang Mai, Hua Hin, Udon Thani, and other areas with established expat communities. Here you're more likely to spend around $350 to $600 a month for something comfortable, perhaps a 1-bedroom condo in a decent location, sometimes with facilities like a pool. And then there's Tier 3, premium city living. Think central Bangkok, central Pattaya, or prime beachfront locations. Here, even a modest 1-bedroom can easily set you back $600 to $1,200 a month before utilities. So you can see how quickly housing can change the entire equation. And on $1,500 a month, I personally look hardest at maybe lower end tier 2. You're paying more than you would in a small provincial town, but you're also getting access to better infrastructure, more things to do, and usually a larger expat community if that's what you're looking for. You don't necessarily need the cheapest place in Thailand. You need the best balance between cost and quality of life. So let's say you find a comfortable place for around $400 a month. That's $400 gone, leaving us with $1,100 for everything else. Food is where I see people's budget either thrive or quietly bleed out. And the truth is, food costs in Thailand aren't just about Thailand. They're about your habits. If you eat mostly local, market, street food and Thai restaurants, you can eat very well for around $150 to $250 a month. If you're doing a mixed lifestyle, some Thai food, some Western meals, coffee shops and occasional pizzas, you're probably looking at around $300 to $450 a month. And if you want to eat mainly Western food, imported groceries, Western restaurants, cheese, wine and all the comforts from home, you can easily spend $500 to $700 a month or more. So don't build your budget around a version of yourself that doesn't exist. If you know you're going to want Western food regularly, put it in the budget. For our retirement budget of $1,500, I'm going to use the mixed lifestyle, so around $350 a month on food. That's $400 for rent and now $350 for food. So we've spent $750 already. We've got $750 left. And now we're going to look at something that's easy to leave out of a retirement budget, but can make a huge difference to how much you actually enjoy your life here. Now let's talk about something that doesn't always show up on a budget spreadsheet: social life. Coffee with friends, dinner out, a few drinks, meeting people, maybe contributing to a relationship or helping a family out. These are small expenses individually, but they can all add up quickly. And there's something else I've noticed as well. Loneliness can become expensive. If you move to Thailand to save money and then isolate yourself because you're trying to cut every unnecessary expense, you might save $100 a month, but you can end up spending that money elsewhere through boredom, impulse purchases, or simply trying to find something to do. So I wouldn't treat socializing as a luxury. If you're retiring here, building a life is part of the budget. Let's put aside $120 a month for coffees, meals out, drinks, and seeing people. So far we've spent $400 on rent, $350 on food, $120 on social life. That's $870. We've got $630 left. Now let's deal with transport, phones, the little things, and the expenses that always seem to appear when you weren't expecting them. For transport, a scooter can be one of the cheapest options outside the bigger cities. Fuel might cost only around $20 to $40 a month. If you're relying on Grab and taxis instead, allow a bit more, perhaps $50 to $80 a month, depending on how much you travel. Then you've got your phone and internet. Allow around $25 to $40 a month. Dental care, minor health costs, laundry, and other things can add another $50 to $70 depending on your lifestyle. But there's one category I don't want you to forget. Unexpected expenses. Your phone breaks, the scooter needs repairing, something needs replacing, a family member needs help. These things happen. So I want at least $50 to $100 a month going into a simple life happens fund. For our budget, let's allow roughly $180 a month for transport and miscellaneous costs. That takes us from $870 to $1,050, so we've got $450 left. And remember, we still need to account for healthcare. That's where this $1,500 budget starts getting interesting. So let's stop talking about individual expenses for a minute and look at the whole picture. We started with $1,500 a month. We've allowed $400 for rent, $350 for food, $120 social life, and $180 on transport and miscellaneous. That's $1,050 already, which leaves us with $450 a month. And this is where the answer gets more complicated. That $450 has to cover the things we haven't built into the everyday budget, particularly healthcare, emergencies, and anything you want left over for savings or travel. If you're in your late 50s or early 60s, reasonably healthy, and living somewhere with sensible housing costs, you may be able to make $1,500 work. It's not luxury, but it could be a perfectly decent life. But the problem comes when your circumstances change. You're older, your insurance becomes more expensive, you have pre-existing conditions, your rent goes up, or you simply want to travel more. Suddenly that $450 you got left doesn't look quite so generous. And then there's another thing you need to think about. Currency risk. Your pension might always say $1,500, but the amount of baht that buys you can change. If the baht strengthens against your home currency, your spending power falls, even though your pension hasn't changed by a single dollar. So let's come back to the question we started with. Can you retire in Thailand on $1,500 a month? Yes, you potentially can, but there's a big difference between making it work and having enough to actually enjoy your retirement. If you're reasonably healthy, choose your location carefully, keep your housing costs under control, and have some savings behind you, $1,500 can give you a good life in Thailand. But if your healthcare costs are higher, or you want a more expensive lifestyle, that same money can start to feel very tight. So don't just ask yourself, can I survive on $1,500 a month? Ask, will it give me enough breathing room to actually enjoy my retirement? Because that's the number that really matters. If you're planning a move to Thailand, work out your own numbers before you make the move, not after. And if you want your budget to stretch further, these videos up here I think you'll find really useful. Thanks for watching today, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.